Hi dears, a very good morning and welcome back to another session of our zoology class. So in the last class, I hope the mutation, pedigree analysis and all are clear to you. Okay, and we discussed one of the disease, that is hemophilia, and we came to discuss the genetic disorders, right? And in the last class we discussed hemophilia. Continuation with that disease, we are dealing with next disease, that is sickle cell anemia. When I described mutation, I point out this disease as an example for the point mutation. Right. So, in this, it is an autosome linked recessive disorder. Okay, it's an autosome linked recessive disorder. The pedigree of this is given in your textbook. I hope you have gone through that. But for going through that pedigree, you have to know which is the affected individual, their genes, what will be their genotypes and all. So in this, we will be knowing what are the genes and all. Okay, so you might have heard this sickle cell anemia. Okay, so this disease can be transmitted to offsprings when both parents are carriers. When both parents are carriers, or in the term we can say both the parents are heterozygotes or heterozygous. This disease can be transmitted to their offspring. Okay, so generally this disease is controlled by a single pair of allele. That pair of allele, it is HBS is the gene. When it is in the homozygous form, this is known as the affected individual. When this disease condition is in this form, we can say it is an heterozygous one. They act as carriers. You might have observed an allele here, that is HBA. HBA is the normal pair of allele for a hemoglobin. The normal pair of allele for hemoglobin is HBA. And if it is HBS, then that individual will be affected with the sickle cell anemia. When this HBS is present, such individuals are the carriers. Okay, so we can see the detail how this disease is occurring, or what is the cause of this disease. We told that a gene is controlling this disease. A pair of allele is controlling this disease. Okay. So, normal hemoglobin contain 4 polypeptide chain with 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chain. Okay, 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chain. In the normal allele HBA, see, before going to that, the 2 alpha chain consist of about 141 amino acids, and the beta chain consists of 144 amino acids. That much amino acids are present. No need, I am telling to your wide understanding. Okay, but it would be helpful for your entrance based questions and all. The alpha chain, the 2 alpha chains are formed of 141 amino acids, and beta chains are formed of 144 amino acids. Okay, so the normal allelic pair consists of glutamic acid. You know that glutamic acid is an amino acid. But in the case of mutation, or in the diseased case, this normal glutamic acid will be substituted by valine, another amino acid that coins for this diseased condition. Okay, the normal glutamic acid. The normal chain consists of the glutamic acid that will be substituted by valine. So the HBA differs from HBS in the amino acids glutamic. In the place of glutamic acid, it will be replaced or substituted by the valine. In the HBS, the glutamic acid will be substituted by valine. I am repeating it for several times because it's very important. Okay, and to avoid all sorts of confusion, I am repeating it again. I hope it's clear. Okay, so the defected person or the affected person consists of glutamic acid instead of, valine instead of this normal glutamic acid. Okay. Now, the affected person, our normal RBC will be disc-shaped. Isn't it? This consists of HBA, HBA. Right. The affected person's RBCs will be sickle-shaped or disc-shaped. It is caused due to the polymerization of cells, and it is due to the insufficiency of low oxygen. The oxygen binding capacity of the sickle-shaped RBC will be quite low when compared to that of the normal RBC. RBC's oxygen binding capacity. So, the oxygen binding capacity of RBC is very low. So, that due to that instance, the lifespan of this RBC will be very short. Do you know what is the lifespan of normal RBC? It's of 120 days. Okay. When considering the sickle-shaped RBC, they will be having short lifespan due to the low oxygen binding capacity. This short span of life and also the low binding capacity of the sickle-shaped cell causes the heavy destruction of this RBC in the spleen. Okay, heavy destruction of the RBC causes what? Anemia. Typically, it is known as hemolytic anemia. And anemia means loss of blood, and that is fatal in condition. Fatal means it may cause death, even death. Okay, so you have to know what is undergoing, what change is causing instead of this glutamic acid. Say normal HBA coins for glutamic acid. Their chain will be coding for this GAG. But in the case of HBS, it will be replaced by valine, and this codon will be given. Okay, GUG, which is entirely different from the normal one, which causes the sickling of the cell and thus leads to hemolytic anemia, which may be fatal. Okay, so that's all about sickle cell anemia. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. Okay. Some additional are there given apart from our NCERT. If you want, you can write the notes along with this video. Okay. So that's all about sickle cell anemia. And the third one which includes in the category is phenylketonuria. Or else we can write capital PKU. Both are. If the PKU is not given in your textbook, PKU is also known as phenylketonuria. Again, it is an autosomal recessive disorder. See, you have to study which type of disorder is this, because for your practical exam or maybe to your theory also, there will be problems regarding solving the pedigree analysis. Okay, that we can discuss in the coming videos or in the live session. Okay, that would be better, I think. We can discuss the how to solve a pedigree analysis in live session. So you have to study this. It's an autosomal recessive disorder. Moreover, it is an inborn error of metabolism or inborn metabolic error disease. Okay, it's an inborn disease. Okay, it is characterized by the excessive accumulation of phenylalanine phenylalanine and its derivatives in the cerebrospinal fluid, in the blood and in the lymph and all. Okay, in the liquid part of our body. Okay. So it is characterized by the excessive accumulation of the phenylalanine or its derivative. Normally, what is happening? The phenylalanine is being converted. Normally, we are telling the normal case. Okay, phenylalanine is converted to tyrosine by an enzyme. In your textbook, that enzyme name is not given, but if you want, I am telling it is phenylalanine hydroxylase. Sorry, phenylalanine hydroxylase. No need, I just told the name. Okay, phenylalanine is converted to tyrosine by an enzyme. Okay, in the affected person, they will not have this enzyme. Okay, some sort of mutation will be occurred in the gene which codes for this enzyme, and that gene will not produce or will not control the production of this enzyme. So the affected person will not have the enzyme. Clear? Normally, this is converted to tyrosine, and tyrosine, several steps are there. I am not going for that. And normally, it is converted to tyrosine. But in the case of affected person, it will not be converted to tyrosine. So, what happened? There will be gradual increase of the accumulation of the phenylalanine in our blood, cerebrospinal fluid and all. Clear? Okay. So, accumulation of this, another derivative is phenylpyruvic acid. Okay, phenylpyruvic acid and all. The phenylpyruvic acid, it's one of the derivative of this. They are seen to be accumulated in our brain. That accumulation of these derivatives or phenylpyruvic acid, phenylpyruvic acid in our brain causes mental retardation and some other mental idiocy and all. And also this phenylalanine accumulate, since they are accumulated in our blood and all, kidney can't absorb this phenylalanine as such. Kidney shows poor absorptive capacity, and that causes the excessive excretion of this phenylalanine through our urine also. Okay, since the kidney shows poor absorptive capacity, this phenylalanine and its derivative are highly excreted through the urine and all. That is also another disease. In your textbook, it is not given, so I am not going for that. I hope it's clear. Phenylketonuria. Okay, so that's all about the hemophilia, autosomal recessive disorder, genetic disorders, or the Mendelian disorders. Right, we discussed the Mendelian disorders, hemophilia, then sickle cell anemia and phenylketonuria. Now we are going to see the second category of the genetic disorder, that includes the chromosomal disorders or chromosomal abnormalities. Okay, chromosomal disorders. So it is caused due to the abnormal change in the number or in the structure of the chromosome, either in the number of chromosome or in the structure of chromosome. Any abnormality or any disorder causes this chromosomal disorders. It may be due to the absence or excess presence of a chromosome. I am writing chromosome as chromo. I hope you don't mind. Okay. Or in the change in the structure. So any numerical change in the structure or in the number, the numerical change in the chromosome is termed as ploidy. Ploidy. What do you mean by ploidy? Numerical change in the chromosome is termed as ploidy. Okay, again, gain or loss of chromosome is known as aneuploidy. Either the gain or the loss of a chromosome is termed as aneuploidy. Total change, the numerical change in the number of chromosome is known as ploidy. Ploidy is of two types. Aneuploidy is a type of ploidy in which it includes the gain or loss of chromosome. Again, we can check out with the aneuploidy. Two types of aneuploidy are there. So, aneuploidy means either the gain or the loss of chromosome. Gain or loss of chromosome. See, what is the chromosome number of human beings? That is 2n. That is 46. Isn't it? Normal one is 2n. Aneuploidy, sorry. 2n. What is the 2n means? 46 chromosome. We can write 46 like this. 44 autosomes with 2 sex chromosomes. This is female. Correct. 44 autosomes with 2 sex chromosomes. This is male. Y chromosome depicts the male. So this is the general form. Isn't it? Keep in mind that. So we are going to check what is happening to the normal chromosome number during the gain or loss of chromosome numbers. Is that clear? Okay. See, aneuploidy is of two types. Right. So, they are known as monosomy and trisomy. We told that either the gain or the loss of number of chromosomes is known as aneuploidy. Aneuploidy is of two types, monosomy and trisomy. In monosomy, one chromosome is lost. In trisomy, one chromosome is gained. Clear? So what happened? 2n minus 1. 2n is the normal chromosome number. Here what is happening? 2n plus 1. Clear? 1, 2, anything can be happen. 1 or more can be gained. Here also. So what happened? 46 chromosome minus 1 means 45 chromosome will be there. Clear? In here 46 plus 1 means 47 chromosome or more. You understood? Example for monosomy is Down's syndrome. We will be studying here. In the trisomy, Turner-Klinefelter syndrome, that we can study here. Okay, I hope it's clear what is aneuploidy, what is monosomy, what is trisomy. Here one chromosome is lost, here one chromosome is gained. Altogether, it alters the normal chromosomal numbers. From 46, it is changed to either the deletion or the addition of new chromosome. Is that clear? Okay. So one more term you have to study, that is ploidy, polyploidy. Okay. Polyploidy. Polyploidy, this generally seen in polyploidy, generally seen in plants. Okay, generally seen in plants. That is, it is the failure of cytokinesis. What do you mean by cytokinesis? Division of the cell. So division of the cell happens after telophase, isn't it? So the failure of cytokinesis to occur after telophase, which results in the increase in the whole number of chromosomes set in the offspring. Same number of chromosome set is again reproduced in the offspring set. So Altogether, the whole set of the chromosome will be doubled. That condition is known as polyploidy, and that is generally visible in plants. Clear? So we can get through with the syndromes. First syndrome is Down syndrome. Okay, Down syndrome was put forward or identified by L. Down or Langdon Down in 1866. Okay, that's why as a tribute to his identification, it is known as Down syndrome. Another term is mangloid idiocy. Is there? Mangloid is that and all is not given in your textbook, so I am not going for the further details. Okay, here what is happening? An extra chromosome is added to the 21st chromosome. An extra chromosome is added, X or Y, anything can be added. Okay, this is affected to, you might have seen such kind of affected individuals in your neighborhood and all, isn't it? Down syndrome. Okay, they can be male or female. So an extra chromosome is added to the normal 21st chromosome. So it is also known as, formerly I told that monosomy is Down syndrome. It's wrong. Okay, here an extra chromosome is added. So the chromosome, it is also known as trisomy 21 syndrome. Trisomy 21 syndrome. So what will be the chromosome number of them? What will be that? Instead of normal 46, they will be having 47 chromosome, because 21 chromosome have an addition, isn't it? So they are having 47 chromosome. See, in the normally we are writing how many autosomes will normally 44A plus XX. If this Down syndrome is affected to female, then their chromosome number will be 45 autosomes with sex chromosome, or 45 autosomes with sex chromosome. So altogether they are having 47, isn't it? 45, 46, 47. Here how many are there? 44, 45, 46. It's the normal one. This is the affected one. See, then the affected individuals, keep note in your mind that formerly I told that example for monosomy is Down syndrome. Sorry for that. It's not a monosomy, it's a trisomy, and its addition is happening. It was my mistake. Okay. So the affected individuals shows mental retardation, protruded face, webbed neck, they short stature, they will not be see their death mortality rate also they will not exceed beyond 10 years or 20 years. 10 years, almost 90% of them will die by the age of 10 years. But rarely 10% can exceed the age limit. So you have to check upon the symptoms: short stature, mental retardation, then puffed face, protruded tongue, then furrowed fingers, furrowed tongue will be having a slit at the tip. All these things you have to check it out. Okay, so I hope you understood. It's not monosomy. I am repeating, it's trisomy due to the addition of chromosome in the 21st chromosome. Okay, next we are going to see Klinefelter's syndrome. Klinefelter's syndrome. This is generally affecting the male. Okay. Another name which is not given in your textbook, you can write testicular dysgenesis. It's known as testicular dysgenesis. Testis is seen in male, isn't it? Klinefelter syndrome are seen in male generally. Okay. See, it is again due to the addition of an extra X chromosome. Extra X chromosome which is resulting into the 47 chromosome, rather than the normal chromosome. So what will be their condition? 44 autosomes will be correct. Okay, extra X chromosome is given. An extra X chromosome which counts for 47, 44, 45, 46, 47. Clear? Testicular dysgenesis generally seen in male. They will be male but they are sterile. They are not at all fertile. And also their testes will be very small and non-functioning. Okay. And we can say small and immature testes. They are not able to produce sperm and all. So they will be all time they will be sterile. And also they will show several feminine characters such as the enlargement of breast, that is known as gynecomastia. Gynecomastia. Okay. All these are shown by Klinefelter's syndrome. Okay. All these symptoms and all are given in your textbook. Next is Turner's syndrome. Turner's syndrome. It's an example for monosomy. Okay. Here it is also known as ovarian dysgenesis. It's again not given in your textbook. So it is affecting the female, isn't it? So here I told that a monosomy is happening. That means a loss of X chromosome. So normally what is the female condition? 44 plus XX. Here what is happening? 44 plus X. One will be absent. You have to represent 0 there to express that. One will be absent. So altogether the chromosome number will be 45 than the normal 46 chromosome. Is that clear? 44 plus X, which gives 1X is deleted. Loss of 1X chromosome. This is seen in female. So typically they will be female, but again they are sterile in nature. They won't have any secondary sexual characters. The uterus will be rudiment or small. They don't show any sorts of menstruation. Their ovary will be again small and rudiment or immature. So they are sterile, and also they show mental idiocy, mental retardation. Is that clear? So altogether we completed this chapter. One thing is that we will be communicated through our live session, which is commencing very soon. In the live session we can discuss the pedigree analysis. Okay. So I hope this is clear. You can write the notes along with this video. You can repeatedly see this video and write the notes and keep it with you and read the textbook clearly. So with this we had completed this chapter, and we can see soon with a new chapter. Okay, till then, bye.